Because half the time, the only reason that people are like, don't question it is because they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And
It just questions their whole their reasoning for behind
like,
everything. If you can't question them about it, they probably just because they don't really have an answer.
it's because they don't want you to realize that they don't fucking know and they're stupid. But I feel like some being that has all the answers and shit would be able to be like, yeah, I could tell you all about that. See,
Here's why I have this. Here's why these rules are why they are.
well, this is why all the bad shit has to happen so that this good stuff can happen, like that whole yin yang system that Buddhists talk about and shit. Like, if there was a being like that could like actually answer all those questions instead of being like, you dare question me, then I would be like, all right, I could respect that.
May not entirely agree with it, maybe.
Yeah, but I'd be able to have more respect for it. I still don't see the point in worshiping it.
Yeah.
That's still evades me. Like, I've never really understood that whole gimmick. The whole, like, I gotta bring you offerings so that you won't make the rainy season not come this year. That's stupid.
What's funny is my dad sometimes would tell me when I was talking to him, he goes like, I'll pray for you and shit like that. And I've always found that shit to be weird.
Yeah.
Like, George Carlin says, it's presuming on your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Like you're telling God, what he should be doing for you.
Yeah.
Essentially, or suggesting at least.
Yeah. It's like, well, I guess I can sort of appreciate it. At the same time, it's just kind of like, really?
Well, the thing about it is what is the accuracy percentage of, like, are your prayers going to be answered?
Yeah. And God's inbox has got to be just fucking. Well, man, like it's got to be like being a hot girl on Tinder, and like your phone dies and you're not able to, like, get to a charger for like a day and a half, and then you finally plug in. And you turn your phone on and you start getting all these push notifications, and then like half of it's just dick pics.
Yeah. Hey God, can you make my dicker bigger?
Yeah, I imagine there's probably people who make that prayer.
I imagine. Think about it, like I said, the accuracy though, like if your prayers get answered, like it's you might as well just like say it out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
That's about the same accuracy rating you're gonna get.
Well, I just think that the act of prayer is really more or less just kind of like a sort of like rubber duck decoding, right? Like if you've ever seen like somebody who works in IT, ask them about rubber ducking, because what they'll do is they'll just like sit there and they'll explain their code, right, to a rubber duck in an attempt to like try and find the bugs and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I feel like, is the same thing as prayer, because it's really just talking yourself through something.
Yeah.
More than anything. So, I don't know. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And I just recently watched, speaking of all that, I just recently watched like an atheist experience video, and they're talking about just like how reliable is faith.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, and he was just trying to get Matt Dillahunty was trying to get this guy to admit that faith isn't 100% accurate, because that would if faith was always true, if it was always real, and if it was always accurate, that would assume then that every religion is true, because they all have faith in their own God and everything. So obviously that can't be true. You can't have all those gods be real.
Yeah, but their faith isn't strong enough.
Or their faith is misplaced, or it's misled.
Yeah.
Well, then
not like my faith at all. My faith is 100% on the right path. I know because I was told.
Well, my God's the right one out of tens of thousands. I just happen to just be born in the right area.
I have a relationship with him.
Yeah. Just like everybody else has a relationship with fucking, Muhammad and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because like he had to have the guy couldn't like he it took him forever to finally admit that faith isn't always accurate because, like I said, if that was true, then all deities would be real.
Yeah.
Which can't be true. And so, he finally gets him to say it. But he still tries to push the idea. He used to just try to go in this circular idea of just like, well, you can't throw away faith. Well, of course you fucking can.
Yeah. You
can't treat faith that way. I'm like, well, yeah, you fucking can. And he just went back to like, well, you just need faith to believe. And they're like, well, it just goes in a circle.
You gotta believe. Haven't you ever heard that song by the immortal George Michael? Gotta have faith. Well, he sits there shaking his ass.
Yeah.
That I think is the funniest part about that is he's singing about having faith, but he's just like shaking his ass as he's doing this in the music video. That is the funniest fucking thing.
I don't really know what that song's really about, but
well, I just remember George Michael like he's in a white room, he's playing guitar, he's shaking his ass, he's got like these cross earrings on. And sunglasses, and he's got like that weird, like, kind of looks like it's painted on facial hair.
I've always thought that too. It does look kind of painted. It's weird.
Right? Yeah. It's like
it's perfectly trimmed, so it looks painted.
Yeah, like it's so short that it doesn't even really like qualify as stubble. Yet it's still like darker.
Yeah. He just has, I think, just thick hair.
Yeah. Like that's like, man. I'd have faith if I could get facial hair that big. But yeah, that's always bothered me about people like that have like weird, like painted on looking facial hair. Like, how the hell do you get that so goddamn perfect? Every time I try to grow facial hair, like I always rock some facial hair, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I let it get it out of control, but like. I can never get it to look like good,
Yeah.
What I mean, like it always just.
I think for that to work, you really just need to go to a salon for that shit. I think that's the only way it can work.
Should I go and get just like the strip?
Oh, the chin strap.
Yeah.
Fuck that douchey shit.
Without the mustache, just shave the mustache off. That's what we should do. We should try to figure out what the douchiest facial hairstyle would be. So, like, you do the chin strap, right? But then you have a soul patch right here.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Hitler stash.
That'd be pretty great.
That'd be pretty douchey, right?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
And then to top it all off, you get the Justin Bieber cut. Right?
Or the old, like, shaved sides and slicked back.
Yeah.
Look that I've been seeing a lot lately, which is like, no.
That doesn't bother me anywhere near as much as just like the fucking hair, that Bieber cut. Like that shit was all the fucking rage when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here thinking like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why is everybody trying to look like this kid? It's retarded. I don't know.
Well, just like we've mentioned this before, but the ugliest things we've ever seen and probably had when we were kids was the bowl cut.
The bowl cut. Man, like...
the penis look.
Yeah, that's just like... If you're a parent who gives your kid that haircut, fuck you. Like,
well, fuck you if you're a kid who wants the bowl cut.
Oh, no kid wanted the bowl cut. That was always just like something that their moms did because they were too cheap to go to Great Clips every once in a while. Or, like, let their kid fucking grow their hair out. And shit, you know what I mean?
You can't have it long.
You can't have it long. You're gonna look silly.
Here, let me put this ball on your head, and I'm gonna snip on the sides.
That's right.
Just give everybody the Lloyd Christmas.
Yep. The Lloyd Christmas look. Lloyd Christmas. I might have to watch that movie again.
It's a fucking great movie.
Yep. I was not as big a fan of the second one.
The second one, I knew going in that it wasn't going to be as good. Like, it cannot beat the first. So, it just was going to have to be not as good. But I did enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah, I can piss. I gotta make lemonade. Waka waka.
So it was a funny ass joke.
Like how you displayed your
Oh yeah. Gotta put that shit up.
your new figure.
Yeah, they're selling those for $30 on average on eBay.
How much did you pay for that on at Brass?
20.
Nice.
There was a couple of dumb shits who were selling it for like 50 and 100.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's only going to go up as time goes on too. So
Yeah.
and it was incredible because I saw that and I was like, oh, it was like I didn't expect to see that.
It's a pretty good find, man.
It is. It was behind all the others, so I took a bit of digging.
Yeah. There's been a few good finds at that place.
Yeah, it happens.
It just sucks because every time I go there and I have money, I never find anything I want.
Yeah,
But
that
if I
always
go
happens.
there, broke, oh my god, I will find. At least
I
two
know.
other
Every time I
things
go
that
there
want.
broke, there's always some fuckhole who has a case full of like good NES games. So I'm like, fuck you, you fucking prick.
Yeah, it's like the time that we came across those ET cartridges way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted to get one of those.
Yeah,
but
me and Ryan got one because
yeah,
we were only two.
you guys both got it because you both had money.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm broke. But yeah, that would have been a good find. Now it wouldn't mean anything because they dug all those up, so they're just floating around everywhere now.
Kind of. I mean, I'd still think that those ones would be worth something because they're in the box.
Yeah, like that would be cool. But like now if I found one, I wouldn't be as excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But one of those pre-dig ET cartridges would be cool to have.
Yeah.
Like that would be an
I
awesome.
think the dug up ones would be sweet. I mean, you got a fucking cartridge that was dug up in the fucking desert for years.
Yeah, maybe.
And in the box,
That's true.
because they're all going to be in the box.
Yeah. I don't know. Just I like the mystique of the cartridges that weren't party to the recall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ones that people didn't send in. Like something about that to me just kind of I like the idea of it. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but that's what kind of made me think that it was cool, was just that, like, hey, here's this thing that like all the copies were supposed to be recalled, but you're just a couple of copies still floating around so that we can be like, it does exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could have easily just been like, it doesn't exist, had the game been.
It's funny too is like years ago, I talked to, there was like, I think there was like an ET cartridge over at Gamers once. And I kind of brought up the whole thing of like, like there's a bunch of that stuff, dug in like the desert and shit. And like, oh, that's fake. That was funny. I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, the story made it seem a lot more like ridiculous than it really was. It was literally like it's not like they dug a desert grave and buried it like some fucking mobsters or something like that.
Yeah, it's just literally they had too much. They couldn't get rid of it, so they just bought some land and just put it in there.
Dumped it in the fucking landfill. It's not even really all that crazy. But the fact that people were like, that's just a legend, was the thing that I always thought was kind of funny.
It is funny.
So I was very interested when they actually went to go dig him up and everything. And now that they found him, we're validated.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But at the same time, it's like, well, now there's just a bunch of copies floating around that,
I would like to talk to people who thought that was fake.
Yeah, just so you could be like, so, did you watch that documentary? It's a good documentary, though. I don't know if you've seen that one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's this guy, and he goes to New Mexico to participate in the dig, right? And he actually drives a DeLorean there, right? He drives a DeLorean with a life-size E.T. doll, but he has to get his DeLorean. He lent it out to George R.R. Martin for some award show, so he has to pick it up from George R.R. Martin first, right? But then he gets his car from George R.R. Martin and drives across the country to New Mexico and participates in the dig, and they actually found him. So I think that's a pretty cool documentary. But
that's cool. I heard the guy who created E.T. was there when it happened.
The video game. Yeah, same dude who created Yar's Revenge. Mm-hmm. It's just it probably could have been a good game if he would have been given time.
Yeah. And it's really like when you watch footage of it, it's definitely not the worst game of all time.
Yeah.
It just isn't. There's worse games than that one. It just has a legacy of being really bad because it was recalled.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this just the whole legend factor. Mm-hmm. There's an urban legend to it, so it's like automatically just the thing that people sit there and go like, worst game of all time. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's a bad game. But
I don't think you've ever played Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Yeah, when you showed me that was just like gross.
It is bad.
Oh man.
One of the punch people who made it.
Yeah. It's just like those people who made like the weird games on Newgrounds and shit back in the day. Like some of those, like Newgrounds used to have the weirdest shit. Like I remember they had like these dating sim games and shit.
Yeah, I never really went on there. I was more of a Liquid Generation fan.
Yeah, Liquid Generation had some stuff like that too. But they were like, there was this one I remember, and it was just like they would use pictures of like recognizable female celebrities. Like you'd be seeing Britney Spears and shit like that, and these would be women that were supposedly like hitting on and shit in the games and stuff. Or like there was a bunch of them. Like holy fuck, there was so much hentai. Like, it was unbelievable how much anime porn they had in these things. It was kind of disturbing, but at the same time, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because they would just be the most ridiculous bullshit. I don't know. I just remember seeing, like, some of the weirdest fucked up shit ever and being like, holy crap, man, Japan's crazy.
I've just never gotten to like hentai or anime that much.
Austin's ex was into it.
Oh, I know. I remember.
Oh man, she was like way too into that shit. That was like freaky weird.
You said like she would watch like gay anime porn.
Right,
and then she munch on some like fucking popcorn.
She's sitting there eating like popcorn, watching like anime characters do it. And like, half of it was like gay porn, and then there was like one where there was a ghost. It was just like fucking awful. And then there was always like the fucking requisite fucking tentacle rape scene in every goddamn one of them.
There's always
Holy
tentacles.
Shit, they were so fucking all about the tentacles, and I can't figure out why that's like such a big thing. Like,
and it'll always show what it looks like inside the vagina.
Yeah, that's always that's fucking hot, right? Like,
show the insides being screwed.
We want to see what it looks like when the penis comes inside the vagina. but make sure that you blur it out. That was the other thing. Like it was always pointless because like they would blur out the dicks and pussies as though we didn't know what was going on there. Like,
yeah, I think I've seen some porns that didn't blur out the vagina, but I've always seen them like blur out the penises.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, it's like Japan. Like, I guess the way that this girl explained things like that, like the whole tentacles. She said that the tentacles were actually because of the whole like censorship thing. Because you don't have to blur out tentacles, and tentacles look like dicks.
Okay.
Apparently,
I guess that kind of makes sense, but it's still strange.
Right, but like Japan, I guess, has these weird rules about porn where you still have to censor the genitalia. Like, you don't have to censor the titties.
Yeah.
The titties are fine. You can show all the titties and butts you want. But, like, you don't get it. You better not be able to see what a coochie looks like.
Yeah.
Or else you're going down. You know? So that's what that's about, apparently.
There's this video.
And yet they make the freakiest shit.
There's this video scene where this Asian chick is given like a boob, kind of like a boob job, or one of them tit jobs.
Titty fuck?
Yeah, just one of those, and like the dick is all blurred out.
Yeah.
So it just looks odd.
It's just such a what's even the point?
Yeah, I don't get it. And then the UK started to get kind of weird about their porn laws as well.
Yeah.
They started doing some laws over there, like you can't do certain, like you can't. I have to look it up on.
There's certain sex acts. That
Yeah, certain sex acts that you can't fucking do now. UK porn.
No anal fisting.
Just okay. Spanking, caning, aggressive whipping, penetration by any object associated with violence, physical or verbal abuse, regardless of if consensual, Euroeulognia, known as water sports,
Interesting.
role playing as non-adults, physical restraint, humiliation, female ejaculation,
What?
strangulation, face sitting. That's one of my favorite things. Face sitting. Come on. Fisting.
So
you
they're
can't
like,
just what the fuck?
so they're basically against like showing people fucking sex toys. No fucking cunnilingus allowed, apparently.
No fisting.
No fisting.
Not even spanking. Spanking is fucking light.
Like, yeah, I mean, goddamn, like you don't even need porn to see that. Just like fucking watch a baseball game. You know, I mean,
A football game, really.
yeah. I mean, just watch any kind of sporting event, really, and you'll see plenty of spanking. Well, except volleyball. There was always like a really weird like lack of spanking in that. I always noticed.
Even with the chicks.
Yeah, like they never spanked each other, and it was like
That's
you're
unfortunate.
you're wearing the shorts. Come on.
Yeah.
Like I didn't actually come here to watch you play volleyball.
It's like fucking Bad Santa. Like he just watches a bunch of chicks eating a hot dog and drinking a beer.
Yeah.
And just not even caring much about the volleyball. He's just watching the ladies.
Yeah, straight up. Like honestly, when I was in high school, the only reason that any guy went to go see volleyball games was because the girls were wearing those shorts.
Yeah.
And man, some of them I just remember had the nicest butts.
Yeah, some did.
Yeah, most of the girls I went to high school with had pretty nice butts though. They were country fried butts.
They got some muscle.
Yeah, they were like corn-fed Midwestern butts.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I've noticed a lot of chicks in the UK do have nice butts too. I've been noticing that lately too. It's kind of weird.
Who do you think has the worst butts?
The worst butts?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can narrow it down to like an ethnicity or anything, or.
But I mean, like a general region.
I don't even know if I can knock it down to there. Even I don't know. Australians? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought to look into that, but I don't know. I can imagine Australians having
Well, there is that. Well, Rebel Wilson or whatever her name is. Then I'm sure she has a nice bottom.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of who would have like the least booty fat. Yeah, I'll talk to her later.
Well, Asians.
Yeah, that's just because like they really don't have much like fat.
No, they're smaller in general, but there are some voluptuous Asians.
Indeed.
I've seen them. They're probably one of my favorites, really. Best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know if there's really a geographical lack of buttness.
Lack of buttness. I'm just trying to think of like where would be though, like if anywhere.
I don't know. Probably just where the thinnest girls are.
Yeah.
The French, maybe.
Well, I guess I'd like to think of it as the women with the flat butts didn't get bred with as much because men we like a good butt.
Yeah. Most anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a thing of beauty. A nice butt is just like it's round and it's perfect. And if you spank it, it jiggles a little bit. And it's just fun. It's like a Stretch Armstrong, but like better. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I look at it, I guess.
Thing is, like, I'm kind of weird. Like, I'd rather have really nice muscular legs than like a huge butt.
Let me ask you this: which is preferable to you? Perfect boobs or a perfect butt?
Probably perfect boobs.
Perfect boobs.
Yeah. I think I'm just more of a boob guy in general.
Yeah.
I like my butts, but I like my boobs too.
Yeah. Well, somebody who's got a nice balance is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta like butts. I just like them, nice and plump.
Yeah.
Juicy, just.
Ever gotten a girl with just had no butt at all?
Oh my god, that's terrible. Once.
Yeah. I don't know if once or twice, but yeah. That one chick, Allison, had no butt.
She had no butt?
Nothing.
No butt?
She had Hank Hill butt, essentially.
Oh, man.
But it was weird because her boobs were like Ann Nicole Smith's. It was just wacky.
Okay. Like...
Yeah.
I've never really, looked at Ann Nicole Smith's boobs. Are they,
They're really nice. I'm a big fan of hers when she was around. Let's see. Yeah, they're just nice, big and round.
Those are nice boobs.
Yeah, just not saggy, but they're good and round,
Yeah.
They have a nice shape. That's unfortunate she died.
Yeah.
And the way she died, too, that's even worse.
Drugs.
Now she has, a daughter that's modeling. And I'm, worried for her future.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, then before she died, her son died.
Oh, that's fucked.
Like a drug overdose, I think.
Yeah, I never really paid much attention to Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, I got into her at an early age. I don't remember what I even, what got me into her, really, but... Well, I know what, but I don't remember, how it happened.
Yeah.
I remember I was into Pamela Anderson for a while when I was younger, too. But I think that was kind of everybody at, my age.
Yeah.
During the 90s. I think if you were just a boy during the 90s, Pam Anderson was somewhere inside your fantasy somewhere.
Yeah.
Although now she doesn't look too good.
Yeah. I don't know. Like for me, I guess that my shit that like attracted me to women was a little bit different from like most guys. Like I remember Ryan was always just about like the big boobs and shit. Like any woman that had big boobs was sexy, right? And
well, that's not. I like that, but it's not inherently true. You know,
yeah,
like,
no, it's not like. Like,
and so he dated a girl with no eyebrows. Like, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like for me, I don't know. Like I've always had different factors. Like I've mentioned before that I find Joey Lauren Adams incredibly sexy because of her voice.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, man! Like I don't know what it is about that voice, but I like it, and I want her to read me a story. You know, like I just want her to like fucking read me to sleep, you know? Fucking telling me about Jack and the Beanstalk. Or the Three Bears or some shit. Or like...
See, for me, that's always been more... I like Joey Lauren Adams' voice, but it's always been more Jennifer Tilly for me.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly has kind of the same thing going.
But also Jennifer Tilly, I think, has a... in my opinion, a better body.
She's a little bit more bodacious.
Yeah. Like if you watch, like I really got into her when I saw Bride of Chucky for the first time. Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Whereas Joey Lauren Adams is a little bit more like
more demure.
Yeah, but she's a chubby chaser, which means that I actually have a chance. So I got to go with that.
Yeah.
No, she dated Kevin Smith, and I've been told that I remind people of Kevin Smith from time to time. So, ergo. I could probably get with that.
I like Jennifer Tilly. I'm not really much of a poker fan, but I'd sure like to poker.
Well, first you got to take her out to dinner and a movie.
At least. Just have her go watch Bride of Chucky.
Bride of Chucky. Now you got to watch Seed of Chucky.
Both.
You gotta watch Seed of Chucky so that she can watch a movie where she plays a character
who plays herself.
Who plays herself while another character voiced by herself is trying to take over herself playing herself's body. So Jennifer Tilly would be playing Jennifer Tilly playing Jennifer Tilly.
As she watches herself. That'd be pretty insane.
That was a pretty masterful meta shit, you know? Like, stuff I wouldn't expect from a Child's Play movie.
Yeah, it's funny. Some people don't like the Seed of Chucky, Bride of Chucky. I enjoy them because, like, Chucky is an absurd, silly character on its own.
Yeah, I mean,
even if you watch the first one, seriously, even if you watch the first one, you still get laughs. Like, even though it's totally serious, you just can't help but laugh. So why not just make the whole thing a horror comedy? Because that's where it deserves to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually try to take that shit seriously, you're doing it wrong.
Like, I get the whole like doll thing being creepy, but at the same time, if you haven't talked, he's gonna laugh. It's creepy
when the doll actually like runs around and talks and shit.
Yeah, if you give him a personality, you can't make it scary then.
Yeah, like at that point, it's just too much of a fucking draw for me. Like, if you want to do like a creepy doll, you got to do it like that Twilight Zone episode. That was a creepy fucking doll. You know what I mean? Like the Twilight Zone episode. Where,
my name is Talking Tina, and I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah. And then, like, it won't say it in front of anybody else and shit. Like,
yeah.
That's the shit that's creepy.
I fucking love Rod Serling.
Rod Serling was a fucking genius, man.
He is. One of my all-time favorite writers, absolutely. And it's kind of weird because for years I didn't know that he also, like, co-wrote the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
But then when you find out, it's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Like, that ending just has Rod Serling written all over it. It does. I mean, it's very reminiscent of the episode where Burgess Meredith just wants to read his fucking book.
Yeah.
You know? Like, just Like, you know, he wants to read his goddamn book, and nobody will fucking let him read his goddamn book. Like,
yeah, I've always found that story to be weird. Like, everybody else hates books. I didn't get that. There are some weird little plot things with Rod Serling stories, but I always just accept them for what they are.
Yeah, it's to me, it's just like, I don't think that it was so much that everybody else hated books, per se, but his wife certainly hated him reading.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Like, I wouldn't marry somebody who hated me doing something that I like.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, like, that's...
You just have to assume that he was just taking what he was given.
Yeah. Like she just sort of went like, we're getting married. He's like,
okay.
Burgess Meredith, man. Like, that shit was fucking great.
Did you ever see the one with him in there, and he was I think it's called The Obsolete Man? And
the one where
he's also like with books too, and like a library and shit. And, like, they have like books being banned.
Yeah, and they're like basically holding a trial to like see whether or not he should be like
sentenced to death.
Yeah.
And then he locks that one guy in with him.
Yep. Fucking original Twilight Zone was just amazing.
Did you ever watch the Twilight Zone movie?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think of it? Because I watched it recently for the first time.
I wasn't really a huge fan of it, just because
Me
it was
neither.
like mostly remakes of shit that they'd already done.
Yeah, I was fine with that, and I thought the one with the plane with John Lithgow was pretty decent.
Yeah, the gremlin thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, I thought there could have been some others. I thought there could have been better stories they could have chosen. The Embrace of Pip one with the little kid who can manipulate anything he wants was also pretty good because it was really, really fucking wacky.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I'd rather just watch the original series.
Yeah.
I never watched the 80s series.
The 80s series is just awful. Like, Rod Serling wasn't involved at all.
Yeah. I should probably watch Night Gallery because he was part of that.
Yeah, Night Gallery's good. Tales from the Dark Side I like. You know, pretty much like anything that's like post Twilight Zone, like any of those other shows are actually pretty good. It's just the resurgence of the Twilight Zone in the 80s was not very good.
Did you ever watch The Outer Limits?
The
original?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually watched some of those, and some of those are pretty good. I have been watching recently of like Tales from the Crypt and shit, because I never really watched that one as a kid, and I probably should have, but I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt is pretty dope. I've got seasons 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, I gave you those, or we traded those.
No, you gave me the cassette tapes.
I'm pretty sure I gave you the first season at least.
Maybe, I don't know. Like I know I bought one at no, I bought one of the seasons at Half Price Books, and then I bought like the cartoon because they've got that.
I'm pretty sure I at least gave you the first season or something like that, and then those tapes, and I gave you those comic books.
Yeah, the comic books. I'm not sure where the comic book went. Like that disappeared on me, but I still have those tapes in my car.
Might be in your car then, the comic books.
Could be, actually. Now that you mention it.
I just love reading old horror comics.
They are pretty fun.
They are. I mean, because they're all like slightly absurd, which I enjoy. And they're all just kind of goofy. I like that.
Right.
The fact that people might have found those scary back in the day is just funny to me.
Like that kid who sees Marty McFly in Back to the Future and thinks he's an alien because it looks exactly like one of the panels in his comic book when he's got the DeLorean in the barn.
You know, what's funny is I've never seen Back to the Future.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah. It's been talked about so much, and I know so much about it already that it's like I don't even really need to see it.
Yeah. I will say this: it is an enjoyable series of flicks.
Yeah,
like,
that's why people talk about them so much.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you have to watch it or anything like that, because I know that's just going to like fucking push you further from it.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say that, you know, I do enjoy watching it from time to time. it is a good series. Of
Yeah, I don't doubt that just because of the fact that people have talked about it. It's like Star Wars. It's like people talk about it so much because they love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things where it's like I know so much about it already.
Yeah.
Without even seeing it, that it's really kind of pointless of seeing it.
What I always liked about Back to the Future, though, like for me, is just how technically impressive it is.
Yeah.
With the way that they reconcile everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so many time travel movies don't really like put that much thought into the continuity.
Yeah.
And
or they always come up with some loophole.
Yeah, they always come up with some bullshit loophole. But in Back to the Future, the loopholes actually like make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it actually all works out. Like so. There will be like a scene where fucking something happened during an event in the first movie that nobody really thinks about or anything like that. But then you're watching the third movie, and Marty's like running around backstage, while the first instance of himself is out playing this song on stage from the first movie, and this thing that happened prevented something bad from happening to that Marty.
Yeah.
So it's like the Marty from the future is helping the Marty from the past without the Marty from the past having any idea. Mm-hmm. And it's just like one of those things like they really meshed it all together really well. And that's the thing that I've always found impressive about it. Is
that and I do like Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Leah Thompson. She's, that whole...
to me, she's really the only reason to watch Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she makes the Oedipus complex cool. Fucking gross, but at the same time, it is Leah Thompson.
Did you ever watch the Beverly Hillbillies movie?
With Jim Varney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually find that movie to be kind of funny. Like, it's stupid, but it's actually kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah.
It's amusing.
It's a serviceable adaptation. Mm-hmm. I don't feel it needed to be made.
Yeah.
But if it had to be made, I'm glad that they used the people that they did.
Yeah.
But again,
especially fucking Diedrich Bader, like.
Yeah, Diedrich Bader made a pretty decent Jethro.
And that one cousin that's like a female that looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
And he cries.
Yeah. But overall, like, I just feel like that movie didn't really need to be made.
No.
But it could have been so much worse.
Yeah. And there are so many TV made movies like I haven't watched, like Bewitched. Like they made that, and I didn't ever watch that one.
Bewitched was awful.
Yeah.
Like I like.
Well, when I saw.
I like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I do too.
And I like what's her face, the Australian chick.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, she's she's good.
But man, she is so lovely in fucking Eyes Wide Shut.
Well, what bothers me about the movie Bewitched, right?
The Clippers joke.
No, what bothers me about that movie is that it's a movie about a remake of the original show.
Okay.
Right? Like, Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman are... Like, Nicole Kidman's actually a witch, right?
Uh-huh.
But she's starring in a remake of the original Bewitched show in the movie.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, you couldn't just like, fucking make it so that they're like the characters for real. You had to make it so it's like fucking third wall fucking bullshit. Where,
yeah.
Oh, here's the actors that play on a remake of the original Bewitched. Oh, and by the way, one of them is an actual witch. Like, that's just silly. Like,
well, it's obvious they try to do something different, but it's like, and I can respect that, but the problem is they try to do something different sometimes with shit when they shouldn't be. It's like really, it's just knowing to pick your battles when shit like that. Like if you're gonna make something based off something else, like you gotta know what to keep in and what to take out. Yeah.
Well, and again, it goes back to that whole it didn't need to be made in the first place.
Yeah.
Like why does anybody need a modern remake of Bewitched?
Yeah.
the original
who's
show.
clamoring for that?
Yeah, like where's the fucking
where's the outrage?
Amount fan base screaming for a remake of Bewitched? You know, like where's the I Dream of Jeannie crowd?
There's a lot of that going around though, like of Hollywood movies that are just being made, like sequels and stuff being made that like nobody fucking asked for, like that fucking Cabin Fever thing. Yeah, Ben-Hur. Like, who the fuck was asking for Ben-Hur? And who was asking for Cabin Fever, a remake of Cabin Fever, for fuck's sake?
Yeah.
Like, I've slowly just started to dislike Eli Roth over time.
Like all the constant Spider-Man reboots.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah. It's because Spider-Man's the only Marvel property that anybody gives a shit that Fox has. So they're just like, well, we're going to make another Spider-Man movie. And Tobey Maguire's just like, 3 was my limit.
Especially 3.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, we need to reboot the franchise. So they make 2 more Spider-Man movies. And then that guy's just like, well, fuck this, I'm out. And so then they're just like, Captain America needs a Spider-Man cameo. So they do it.
It looks awful.
Yeah. Well, it just looked super like
it looked cartoony from what you showed me.
It looked way out of place, you know. Like he didn't look like he was there.
It almost looked like they did it like a last minute thing, or they did it like after the film, like movie was already shot. Like, hey, come in again we're gonna do one more thing.
Yeah. Like, I'll give him this. I like the way that the Spider-Man outfit looked in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah, it looked legit there.
But, like, you know, just looking like it's CGI'd on, it looks silly.
It looks gross.
And for fuck's sake, if you're going to make Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man movie, use, like, cool villains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't make Topher Grace play fucking Venom.
That was an odd choice. I do like Topher Grace, but that was such an odd choice.
Too, but not as Venom. Like,
it was an odd choice.
Yeah. And Sandman, that was kind of unnecessary too. Like, I didn't really think Sandman was a great choice for
Willem Dafoe played a mean Green Goblin.
Yeah, he was a good Green Goblin. I think that the Green Goblin costume sucked.
Yeah, it kind of was.
It looked very Power Rangers-esque. But, I mean, overall, you know, Willem Dafoe was great for the character.
Speaking of which, I'm kind of curious about that Power Rangers movie.
But, like, you know, I'm saying, like, you know, throw in, like, some cooler villains, you know? Like, Mysterio would be fucking dope. Or Carnage. Why the fuck can't they make a Spider-Man movie with Carnage? Carnage was the best villain in Spider-Man. I don't care what anybody says.
I thought he was in the third one or something.
No, he wasn't. That was Venom.
Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, Carnage was the best fucking Spider-Man villain there was. I don't care what anyone says. Fucking Carnage was cool.
What's funny too is it seems impossible to make a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, well,
isn't that weird?
They should probably just stop that. I mean, they've tried how many times now?
3.
Like, it's...
Well, technically, I think 4, but...
No.
Because
It has not been a Fantastic Four.
Well, because they had the original one with fucking, you know, Roger Corman's whatever, which is fine. It's low budget. It was never meant to be brought out, so whatever. It can look shitty. Then they did the one with the guy who played Captain America and whatever fuck her name is and all those. And they made, like, the one with the Silver Surfer. And then they recently did that one this year. Or last year, whatever the fuck it was.
And it's all just been terrible.
Yeah.
It's just because the Fantastic Four really isn't all that great. Like, to begin
Yeah,
with.
I don't know what it is really about it. But they just can't make it right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, I think that people kind of like, you know, I get that Stan Lee is legendary and everything, but I think that people kind of like gobble on his nuts a little too much.
Yeah.
Like, any character he makes is just like, oh my god, genius.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, fucking Fantastic Four wasn't really all that fantastic. Like, even as a concept, it was just kind of like,
Meh.
you know? Like, I'm not saying it was the worst thing ever, but it's certainly not really worthy of my praise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always wish they'd have a Lady Death movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like Lady Death.
Like, and I don't mind, like I like the Hulk in concept.
Yeah.
But they've made some terrible Hulk movies, too. Now, if they could make...
It's probably just best to watch the TV show.
If they could make a Hulk movie that's got the current guy, then I'd watch that.
Yeah.
But, like, that Eric Bana Hulk was just awful.
Isn't that the one where they only showed the Hulk for like 10 minutes at the end?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Fucking... And it was just like...
Wasn't it directed by like Ang Lee or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I actually made a meme a while back that was just like a fucking picture of Eric Bana's Hulk, and you know, just looking like really, really poorly CGI'd and everything. Like that was always the thing that really bothered me about that version of the Hulk was that like the CGI didn't look good even at the time.
Yeah.
But the meme that I made said, "You wouldn't like me when I'm Ang Lee." I thought that was great, but it didn't catch on.